She had 300,000 followers on TikTok, a dream of becoming an actress, and a business partner who promised to make her a star. Then one day, she decided to walk away from all of it. 4 months into their partnership, she vanished. Her family couldn't reach her, her phone went silent, and 2 days later, her body was found in a suitcase on a mountainside, 300 kilometers from where she was last seen alive. What happened in her final hours, and who was the man she trusted with her career? Today, we will be discussing the case of Jiah. September 11th, 2024. Around 8 in the evening, a father in South Korea pulls out his phone and sends a message to his daughter on Talk, the Korean equivalent of WhatsApp. Nothing unusual, just a dad checking in. Hours go by, no response. Then, at around 3 in the morning, his phone finally buzzes. It's a short reply from his daughter. He doesn't know it, but this is the last time he will ever hear from her. 2 days after that final message, her body was discovered. Not in Seoul, where she lived, not in Incheon, where she'd last been seen, but in Buju, a remote, mountainous area in North Cholla Province, roughly 300 kilometers, or 186 miles away. Deep in rural Korea, a location with no connection to her life whatsoever. When they found her, the scene was horrific. Her face showed clear signs of brutal assault. Multiple bruises covered her body. The cause of death was asphyxiation due to compression of the neck. Someone had beaten Jiah, had strangled her to death, and then had driven her body across the country to dump it in the mountains. She was 24 years old. She was a woman working toward her dreams. She had a personality well suited to social media broadcasting, bubbly, bright, and full of life. She posted dance covers, makeup tutorials, and lifestyle content. She was working toward a flying yoga certification. She had 3 cats she adored, Gugu, Yepi, and Tori. She loved bread. She dreamed of theater, of the spotlight, of a career in entertainment. But someone snatched that all away. To understand what happened to Jiah, we need to talk about how TikTok works in Korea, specifically the live streaming side of things. So TikTok has this kind of ranking system for viewers. The more money you donate to creators during live streams, the higher your level becomes. It's basically a status symbol. Level 50 is the maximum. And to get there, you'd need to have donated somewhere in the ballpark of 150 million Korean won, which is over 110,000 US dollars. An amount vastly higher than most Koreans make in a year, and an insane amount of money to throw at strangers on the internet. Now, there was a man on this platform who went by the nickname Black Cat. His real name was Choi. We will call him Mr. Choi. And his level was 46. To put that in perspective, you don't hit level 46 without spending at least 100 million won, roughly 70,000 to 75,000 US dollars. In the TikTok live streaming world, that made him royalty, a big spender, a VIP among VIPs. Creators noticed when he showed up in their chat. They paid attention when he dropped donations, and Mr. Choi knew it. He told people he was the CEO of an IT company, said he did coding, development, ran businesses, a successful guy, an entrepreneur, the whole package. But he was more than just a wealthy fan. He had positioned himself as something bigger. Jiah's father would later confirm this to investigators. Choi had presented himself as a guide for rising influencers, someone who knew the game and could help them win. It was in May of 2024 that Mr. Choi entered Jiah's life. At first, he was just another viewer. He'd pop into her streams, leave comments, drop donations. Some days he'd spend $1 million in a single session. That's around $750 US. For Jiah, who was still building her audience, that kind of support was significant. It got her attention. Of course it did. Then came the private message. "I know the TikTok market really well. I can help you grow your subscribers," he said. He pitched himself as a talent manager for social media creators. He'd help guide their content, grow their channels, and in return, he'd take a cut of their profits. Fair enough, right? That's a legitimate business model. It exists everywhere. And Mr. Choi actually had a reputation as a man who could take rookie creators and turn them into stars. There were people who had grown under his management. His track record seemed legitimate. Jiah's agency looked into him, liked what they saw, and agreed to the partnership. She signed an exclusive contract. For Jiah, this must have felt like the opportunity of a lifetime. She was already doing theater work and sharing her acting adventures on Instagram. But building a massive social media following, that's the modern path to getting noticed. More followers meant more visibility. More visibility meant more chances at auditions, at getting roles, and at achieving a real career in the entertainment industry. So she took his hand. She had no idea that this same hand would eventually end up wrapped around her throat. Once the partnership began, Jiah's life started to change. At first, it probably seemed like normal business stuff. Mr. Choi had ideas about her streaming schedule. He wanted her to broadcast more, longer hours, different times. And his logic was streaming in the early hours of the morning, like 2, 3, 4 a.m., would attract international viewers from different time zones. More global followers meant faster channel growth. Jiah listened. He was the expert after all. He was the one with a track record. He was the one who said he would make her a star. So her streams got longer. What started as manageable daytime broadcasts stretched into marathon sessions that went deep into the night. 12-hour streams became normal. But then things started getting more invasive. One day, Jiah met up with a friend for coffee. While they were talking, Jiah's phone started blowing up, notification after notification. Over 30 messages in a single minute. The friend asked what was going on. Jiah showed her the screen. Mr. Choi had installed a location tracking app on her phone. He could see exactly where she was in real time at any moment of the day. He was monitoring her movements, watching her. According to reports, Mr. Choi saw nothing wrong with his behavior and dismissed her discomfort. "I watch your 12-hour streams and follow your every move. Why can't you understand me?" he asked. He seemed to believe his behavior was an indication of his dedication to her career. And then he'd add something that probably made Jiah's skin crawl. "I think of you like a daughter." Like a daughter. Those words might sound warm on the surface, but what was actually happening was something much darker. Mr. Choi had rules for Jiah, rules about her streaming schedule, rules about her contents, rules about her daily life. And when she broke those rules, or when he believed that she had, he'd explode. The pattern was textbook manipulation. He'd flip between coaxing and threatening, soothing and intimidating. Sweet one minute, terrifying the next. Classic abuser behavior. Keep the victim off balance. Never let them feel safe. Never let them feel like they have solid ground to stand on. People around Jiah started to notice she was exhausted, drained, not herself. Reports say she was under extreme stress. She confided in her family about Choi's controlling behavior. She told one acquaintance, "These days, I keep clashing with this person because of the partnership." But she didn't go into details. Maybe it was too painful. Maybe she didn't know how to explain it. Or maybe she felt like there was no way out. Other female creators who had worked with Mr. Choi had eventually walked away when his demands got too intense. They cut ties and moved on. But Jiah was different. Her dream of becoming an actress was everything to her. And her social media presence was the foundation she was building to reach that goal. If she gave up now, if she walked away from the partnership, everything she'd worked for would fall apart. Mr. Choi knew this. He knew exactly what power he had over her. So Jiah stayed. She endured. She told herself that if she just held on a little longer, her moment would come. By September 2024, cracks were starting to show, not just in Jiah's patience, but in Mr. Choi's carefully constructed facade. On September 10th, Jiah learned the truth. The successful IT CEO? Fiction. The wealthy businessman throwing around hundreds of millions of won? A lie. Mr. Choi was drowning in debt, massive, crushing debt. He had taken out enormous loans against his family home, hundreds of millions of won, and couldn't pay them back. Without his own father knowing, he had converted their family home's long-term lease into a monthly rental contract and pocketed the extra money. His dad had no idea. The rent was about 800,000 won, which is about $550. And even that hadn't been paid in months. All those flashy donations on TikTok, that big spender reputation that got him access to Jiah and other creators, it was all built on borrowed money. Behind the level 46 status were empty bank accounts and collection notices stacking up. The image of the successful businessman was a mask, and behind that mask was a desperate man approaching young women with promises of stardom. When Jiah discovered this, the spell was broken. She made her decision. She was done. She was going to cut all ties with Mr. Choi. No more partnership. No more surveillance and no more control, no more lies. That same day, September 10th, Mr. Choi showed up to see her. CCTV cameras caught the whole thing. When Mr. Choi approached, Jiah backed away from him. Her body language was clear. She was afraid. This was not a friendly meeting. This was a confrontation. Then Mr. Choi did something unexpected. He dropped to his knees. And think about that image for a second. A grown man in his 50s on his knees in front of this 24-year-old woman. He was begging her, pleading, "Don't leave. Please reconsider. Give me another chance." Jiah shook her head. And in that instant, something in Mr. Choi switched. The footage shows him suddenly snatching her phone out of her hands. He talked to her for a long time after that. We don't know what was said, but we know that Jiah tried to get away, but couldn't. Eventually, Mr. Choi left, but it wasn't over. So here is what you need to understand about September 11th, 2024. For Mr. Choi, it wasn't just any day. It was the day his home was seized and auctioned off. He lost everything that day. His house, his facade, his illusion of success. And on that same day, the one person keeping him financially afloat, Jiah, whose streaming revenue had been covering his expenses, told him she was walking away forever. September 11th, 2024. Jiah did a live stream from Yeongjong Island in Incheon. Just another day at work. She smiled at the camera, interacted with her fans, did what she always did. The broadcast was wrapped up at around 3 p.m. A normal day, normal work. But then Mr. Choi showed up again. An argument broke out as they were sitting together in Mr. Choi's car. We don't have audio. We don't know exactly what words were exchanged, but we know how it ended. Jiah's mother would later share what the detectives told her. It's one of the most haunting details of this entire case. The detective said at 3:27 p.m., the CCTV showed her about to get out of the car, but she was pulled back inside by force. The door then closed. That was it, at 3:27 p.m. Less than 30 minutes after her stream ended. Inside that car, Mr. Choi attacked Jiah. He beat her, and then he strangled her until she stopped breathing. 30 minutes. That's the time that passed between just smiling at the camera, talking to her fans, living her life, and being murdered. After Jiah died, Mr. Tre started moving. And what he did next shows you exactly what kind of person he is. He drove back to his home in Seoul and grabbed the large suitcase that he would use to hide Jiah's body. Witnesses saw him dragging it from his residence before he loaded it into his car and set off toward Muju. Over 3 hours of driving, a place with no connection to either of them, just wilderness. During that journey, he made 8 separate stops: Seocheon in South Chungcheong Province, Kunsan and Jeonju in North Jeolla. Each stop was deliberate, designed to create false trails and throw off any police investigation. He was zigzagging through the country, doubling back, making it as confusing as possible to trace his route. This wasn't panic. This was pure calculation. By dawn on September 12, Mr. Tre had arrived at a mountain in Muju. He dragged the suitcase containing Jiah's body into the brush and abandoned it there. But then something went wrong with his plan. As he tried to leave the scene, somewhere along the way, his car wheel got stuck in a ditch. He couldn't get it out. Meanwhile, Jiah's family had reported her missing. Officers at the Gyeonggi Yongin East Police Station began investigating. They started tracing her last known movements through CCTV footage. They tracked her to Mr. Tre's car. And from there, they tracked his vehicle through cameras along the route. And despite all those careful stops, all that meticulous planning to create false trails, they traced his path straight to Muju County. On the morning of September 13th, around 5 a.m., police found Jiah's body on that remote mountainside. And just 50 meters away, Mr. Tre, still there, still trying to get his car unstuck from that ditch after more than a day of struggling. 12 hours after finding Jiah's body, the police arrested him. We don't know why it took 12 hours when he was nearby, but this is according to reports. When they approached and asked for identification, he tried to run. They caught him immediately. At first, he wouldn't talk. When he finally did speak, he lied. We argued and then parted ways, he said. But the police had the body. They had the CCTV footage. They had his car. And they found him practically standing over the crime scene. When investigators told him they'd found Jiah's body just meters from where he was stuck, he finally broke down and confessed. And then came the revelation that makes this case even more infuriating. Mr. Tre already had a criminal record documenting a similar incident. In December of 2023, just 9 months before he killed Jiah, he had been investigated for assaulting and unlawfully confining another female TikTok creator. Different victim, same pattern of behavior, same predatory tactics. He was literally on trial for those crimes when he murdered Jiah. Out on bail, walking free while awaiting judgment for hurting another woman. And in that window of freedom, he did it again. Only this time, he went further. This time he killed. The system had failed. A known predator was allowed to roam free, and a 24-year-old woman paid the ultimate price. I think of you like a daughter. That is what Mr. Tre told Jiah, but there was nothing fatherly about what he did. What he hid behind those words wasn't affection, it was possession, control. And when Jiah tried to leave, he made sure she couldn't. Mr. Tre is currently detained and has been indicted on charges of murder and abandonment of a corpse. The trial is ongoing as of this recording. After the case went public, the hashtag Justice for Jiah trended on Korean social media. The story sparked conversations about the risks content creators face, especially young women navigating relationships with wealthy, powerful supporters who blur the line between fan and something more dangerous. Jiah's father still cannot sleep. He told reporters he hears his daughter's voice asking him to get justice for her. On September 20th, her family posted a tribute on her TikTok account. They wrote that she loved bread, that she touched every soul she met, and that she filled ordinary moments with light. They asked people to remember her with kindness. She was just 24. She had 3 cats. She was working on her flying yoga certification. She wanted to be an actress. That is who Jiah was. And that's how we should remember her. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.